We're sticking with silver. It's still probably the most undervalued asset on the planet, maybe the very best, if not the value play of a generation.
Investing in silver and gold as a commodity is simple and profitable. Anyone can learn the simple ways to buy silver and gold as physical wealth. Since the value of gold and silver is considerably high, the precious metal is an excellent investment option. Investing in gold and silver has more advantages than any form of currency. While people give a lot of opinions, investing in gold has always been a clear winner. In stable times, at least 10% of your portfolio should be in precious metals like gold and silver for diversification purposes. Some claim that gold is a barbaric relic that no longer has the monetary qualities of the past. In a modern economic environment, paper money is the currency of choice. They argue that the only advantage of gold is the fact that it is a material used in jewelry. At the other end of the spectrum are those who argue that gold is an asset with several intrinsic qualities that make it unique and necessary for investors to hold in their portfolios. In today's video, we will share why Andy Schectman says gold and silver can make most of us rich. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
The public has not an idea of what is coming, and they think that everything will be made to soft landing and everything will be okay the way that it always has. But if we lose the petrodollar status, if we see Saudi Arabia join the BRICS nations, like it seems like they're going to, if we see them open up oil purchases and other currencies, all of this like that, it vaporizes the Fed as a sideshow. But I will simply say this, even if I'm wrong about all of that, you get a guy like Zoltan Pozsar says the only way to curb this inflation is to keep interest rates for years above 5 or 6%, even at the cost of an economic depression, not just a recession, a depression. That's the only way to bring it under control.
It's inflation or depression. You have to choose. This is what Fed Chairman Powell has to deal with, and every government since Roman times has chosen inflation over hard decisions. The countries that have hoarded all the gold, no matter when the price is removed, end up being able to hoard it at subsidized prices. But that is changing. These countries are now accelerating their desire to de-dollarize. They have massively produced and accumulated gold in the last few decades. They continue to do so. Now they want the price to be fair, where you can't have 55 million ounces in the pricing mechanism when you're pumping almost 1 billion ounces a year. Let it be the Fed that cracks down on inflation. As Zoltan Pozsar says, rising interest rates to 5% or more appropriately, letting the market set rates, not the Fed. When this happens, you could really figure out prices. But it is a religious experience when it happens. The public has no idea what is to come and thinks that everything will be made for a soft landing and everything will work out just as usual. But if we lose petrodollar status, if we see Saudi Arabia joining the BRICS, as it looks like they will, if we see them opening up buying oil and other currencies, all of that vaporizes the Fed as an attraction. The only way to curb this inflation is to keep interest rates above 5 or 6% for years, even at the cost of an economic depression. Not just a recession, a depression. It's the only way to control it. At the end of the day, the place to be is gold. The world's most sophisticated, best financed, and most informed bank would not have BIS, would not have reclassified the first-tier gold if it wasn't for important reasons. But when you look at silver right now, in almost a 90-to-1 ratio, people always say that gold and silver are great in terms of inflation. But what if you had a massive depression and deflation where gold and silver prices crash, and as Doug Casey said, they are assets that are not simultaneously someone else's responsibility. Therefore, they work better in deflation than in inflation. The idea that gold preserves wealth is even more important in an economic environment where investors are faced with a falling US dollar and rising inflation. The reasons for the importance of gold in the modern economy lie in the fact that it has managed to preserve wealth for thousands of generations. However, the same cannot be said for paper-dominated currencies. The time period we are looking at is extremely important. Looking at longer and shorter timeframes, gold or the broader market will outperform, sometimes by a wide margin.
It's either inflation or depression, take your pick. That's what Fed Chairman Powell has to deal with. And every government since Roman times has chosen inflation over the tough decisions, and I wonder, will this be anything different? This is why I have always felt that this will come organically from the East as they move away from the dollar, as they continue. Look, we talked about the other day, you have the Russians, the central bank talking about a new gold price hub in Moscow for the Eurasian continent, for all of the BRICS nations.
That's all for today. Let us know your views in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video before leaving. Thanks for watching.